to read the Western media, to read the U.S. sanctions on the country. You step in there and you're saying, oh my God, am I going to be safe? How's the Ethiopian government going to treat me? And when you're in Addis Ababa, people are obviously on edge. There's obviously great concern in the country and worry, but people are out going about their normal lives. And at early, people told me that the rally was going to start at 9 a.m. It started about 6 a.m. outside my window, just staying there close to Mescal Square where these images are from. And again, it's people that are calling for peace. They're not out there calling for war with the TPLF. They're not calling for war with Tigrayan people. The mood obviously was heavy, but people are calling for an end of conflict. A lot of frustration towards Western media, lots of frustration towards the U.S. government. I think that was shown obviously too if people watching here talking about the Virginia governor's race with 100,000 Ethiopians in Virginia switching their vote. Lots of them, I think 80% of Ethiopians in Virginia support the Democratic Party, but 60% of them said they were going to vote Republican because of Biden's policy. So at that rally, lots of people, as you can see, frustrated with mainstream media, frustrated with Joe Biden. The rest of the day, Sunday, again, if a country was about to be taken by the TPLF, people would not be out at funerals, at social gatherings, eating lunch together. There was a relaxed mood. And then I was telling people on Sunday night, I had the chance to interview the Deputy Commissioner of the Federal Police who did the investigation into crimes committed by the TPLF. And again, these images are horrific to see from cities. Dead bodies piled on top of each other, animals and livestock killed, crops destroyed. And the Deputy Commissioner is doing an interview with me, and we're sitting in a private room at the Hyatt, sipping tea, and they show me not only the 9 people that were going to be the government in exile laughing at it, we're also watching the news from the hotel on Al Jazeera with a TPLF official here in Washington, D.C. that has an arrest warrant for them in Ethiopia.
So this is from Breakthrough News with Rania Khalek. And, that wasn't Rania Khalek. That was just one of the guests that was there talking to Rania Khalek about the Ethiopia, situation. And I know it's a little dark, but, the world's a dark place anyways. So, apologize about that. But I got something to say about the Tigray conflict, the Tigray-Ethiopian conflict. If I can get this situated to where I like it. It's maybe if I step back right here. Okay. So the Tigray conflict in Ethiopia. Right now you've had thousands that have been killed in Tigray and Ethiopia. So what's going on? Let's, go from the beginning. So you have Tigray. Tigray is one of the 10 autonomous regions. It's a federal republic. So Ethiopia has 10 states, and one of the states is Tigray. And so you have Tigray is the northernmost region. There's 10 regions, and Tigray was not a part of the coalition that formed the new government. So they were on the outs. They were not allowed to be a part of the government because the coalition, they just, politics, they were out and they were mad about it. And then they had an election, and then the president of Ethiopia, Abiy Ahmed, was going to have an election but stopped the election because of COVID. And then the Tigray region went ahead and had their election. And after they had their election, they said these are the people in charge, and they started expelling the Egyptian authorities. So I don't know if you were looking at the protest, the images of the protest at, just Breakthrough News, but I saw a sign at a protest in Ethiopia that said, stop, CNN's fake news, stop CNN's fake news. Ethiopia is not George Floyd's neck. So that's quite topical. Ethiopians are saying stop the CNN fake news and that Ethiopia is not George Floyd's neck. It's topical. It's crystal clear English. It's almost like the Ethiopian protesters, like their signs were meant for my eyes. The Western media is making the Tigray, the TPLF, look like freedom fighters, which is actually quite incredible because Ethiopia and the U.S. used to have a really good, I think Ethiopia was used as a launching pad for the Iraq War. So the Western media is making the TPLF look like freedom fighters, and that's why you got those signs. Stop CNN fake news. Ethiopia is not George Floyd's neck. So you have two sides, right? You got the Tigray region on one side, and then you got the 9 regions of Ethiopia and the president of Ethiopia, Abiy Ahmed, on the other side. And what it looks like to me, it looks like Tigray is on some bullshit. It looks like the Tigray people are the bad guys and the government of Ethiopia are the good guys. Tigray is a secessionist, a separatist movement like the South Carolina secessionists at Fort Sumter. Tigray started this by killing the Ethiopian police in Mekelle. In Mekelle, the capital of Tigray, because for Tigray, Tigray is for Tigrayans only. No Ethiopians are allowed. So you have Abiy Ahmed. Abiy Ahmed, he's an Ethiopian politician. He's been the 4th Prime Minister of the Federal Democratic Republic of Ethiopia since April 2nd, 2018. So he's the Prime Minister of the Federal Democratic Republic of Ethiopia since 2018, and so far 10,000 people have died. Have they been killed or died? I don't know, but I think you could say thousands have been killed, thousands have died. So it's terrible, the atrocities, the murder, the bloodshed. So Tigray thinks that they're their own region. They did have their own elections, so there might be some democratic legitimacy there. And all this, so according to the president, so let's look at, I'm going to go with it looks like the president is correct. And so why I say that is because on November 3rd, 2020 is when the attacks began. So they had an election, but then they, killed a bunch of Ethiopian authorities. And it happened on November 3rd, 2020, which is 1 year and 14 days ago. Just before midnight on November 3rd, 2020, Tigray Special Forces and the Ethiopian National Defense Force came into conflict during the TPLF attacks on the ENDF Northern Command. So the Ethiopian National Defense Force, they said, came into conflict with the headquarters in Mekelle. Mekelle. You, Kelly? No, me, Kelly. The 5th Battalion Barracks in Dansha and other Northern Command bases. So this is the Tigray people, or the Tigray Special Forces. The Tigray troops just attacked Ethiopia out of nowhere. Out of nowhere. They were building the forces up, right? They were building a bunch of saber-rattling forces up on the border until, the shit hit the fan, until the dam broke. And the dam broke. Several people were killed, and the TPLF claimed the attack was carried out in self-defense. But in retaliation, an Ethiopian offensive was launched the next day, November 4th, which was accompanied by the declaration of a state of emergency, the creation of the State of Emergency Inquiry Board, and a shutdown of government services in the Tigray region. During the subsequent days, skirmishes continued, and the Ethiopian Federal Parliament declared the creation of an interim government for Tigray. Ethiopian offenses in the north were accompanied with airstrikes, and several towns and cities were retaken. Now, right now, with the situation, American and UK citizens have been told to leave Ethiopia while commercial flights are readily available, said some British guy. Just over a year ago into the Ethiopian civil war, a rebel Tigray force from the northern Tigray region looked like it could be making a move on the capital of Ethiopia, Addis Ababa. So the Tigray people, the Tigray troops, have taken 2 other regions. They've taken Amhara and Afar. Afar and Amhara are also, one of the 10 regions. But the Tigray region has taken over the Amhara and the Afar region, and now they're marching to the capital. They're only about 300 kilometers from Addis Ababa. Addis Ababa is the capital of Ethiopia. Addis Ababa. And that, you just want to keep saying it over and over again. Addis Ababa? Yeah, we're going up to Addis Ababa. Why are you going to Addis Ababa? Well, that's where the power center is. That's where Abiy Ahmed is. Abiy Ahmed is declaring war on the Tigray region. So the Tigray region, instead of fighting them over here, why not fight them over there? So the Tigray troops are closing in on Abiy Ahmed's power center, the prime minister, the central power of Ethiopia, the state, the nation state. So the Tigray region, they've already taken over Amhara and Afar regions. Abiy Ababa has ordered them to go back to Tigray. They're not going to negotiate. So Abiy Ababa, no, not Abiy Ababa, that's the capital. Abiy Ahmed the Adidas, Abiy Ahmed of Addis Ababa, has ordered them to go back to Tigray and out of Amhara and Afar region. So they want to get out of the Afar region, get out of the Amhara region, and then they'll, think about talking. But Abiy Ahmed of Addis Ababa, the Prime Minister of Ethiopia, said he's not going to talk to the Tigray region or the Tigray forces or the troops because he considers them terrorists. And isn't that convenient? Anybody that the state deems an enemy is automatically a terrorist. Ethiopia has a population of 110 million people. It's right there on the Horn of Africa. 110 million people. That's the second largest population on the continent. Ethiopia had been a key stable Western ally in a volatile region. So 110 million, that's 1/3 of America. The population of Ethiopia, 1/3 of America. 1/3. Tigray is one of 10 regions of Ethiopia in the tippy-top north. The northernmost regional state in Ethiopia is the Tigray region. The Tigray region is the homeland of the Tigrayan, Arab, and the Kunami people. The Tigray are also known as Region 1, according to the federal constitution. So they're the first region. Region number 1 is the Tigray region. Mekelle is the capital and the largest city of Ethiopia. Mekelle Tigray is the 5th largest by area, the 5th most populous region, and the 5th most densely populated of the 10 regional states. So Tigray is a very important state. It's almost as if like South Carolina, or Texas or, New Mexico is seceding. They had an election. They're in control of their own states. So this is, civil war. It's civil war. It's headed towards civil war if it's not already a civil war for the last 1 year. But this is Ethiopian on Ethiopian, right? Or Tigrayan on whatever. 96% of the Tigrayans are Orthodox Christian. And Tigray is on one side and the Ethiopian police and the troops on the other. But there's also local police and troops from the Amhara and the Afar regions and the Eritrean troops, which are helping Ethiopia. Abiy Ahmed of, Addis Ababa, right? Addis Ababa. That's the capital, Addis Ababa. Anybody? Somebody, anybody? Addis Ababa, that's right. So you have Eritrean troops, which is helping Ethiopia, and then you also got cops and troops from Amhara and Afar regions, and you also got them Jerdamines, which are just military police, troops who come in to act as domestic police forces. Eritrea and Ethiopia and Tigray, all sides have committed terrible war crimes, including rapes of children and the elderly. So it's nasty. It's gross. Bloodshed, murder, war crimes, rapes, arsons, stealing, whatever, right? You name a crime, it's happening in Ethiopia. November 2021, 9 UN staff is detained in Ethiopia, the capital, in Addis Ababa. So the United Nations, they're being detained by the government of Ethiopia. We used to be such good friends. 7 UN staff were expelled just last month. 2 in October were accused of being Tigray sympathizers. So there is a lot of that going on. The US, the UK, the UN, the Western media, they're on the side of the Tigray, rebels, apparently. Now, 2019, Prime Minister Abiy Ahmed, he's not totally blameless here. He could have done something better when it came to holding that election, right? They could have ran their own candidates in it, and then they did postpone the election. You got to have the elections. You got to have the elections. Abiy Ahmed, he's going to merge all these factions in Ethiopia into his Prosperity Party. So Abiy Ahmed has the Prosperity Party. He's the prime minister. In 2019, he went ahead and built a rainbow coalition. But for whatever reason, the TPLF refused to join the Prosperity Party, or maybe, the other way around. But for some reason, the TPLF and the Prosperity Party did not join forces. Prosperity Party is going to have elections. They cancel the elections. The TPLF have elections. They elect their own people, and they say that they're an autonomous region. So Yeah, for any outsider to actually say what South Carolina was wrong because of slavery, but they're not fighting for slavery. It seems like they're fighting for self-determination and autonomy, which they have a right to independence. The U.S., the United States had a Declaration of Independence and a Revolutionary War. So you want everybody to get along. Abiy Ahmed is trying to smash Tigray, trying to smash him back into submission. But the Tigray people, the Tigray troops don't seem to want that. They're actually about to descend on, Addis Ababa. They're about to descend on Addis Ababa. The Tigray terrorists, yep, they're about to come invade Addis Ababa. But I saw an interview with a journalist in Addis Ababa, and she wasn't afraid, and the streets, everything seemed calm in Addis Ababa, even though they're 300 kilometers away. So, lots of crazy shit going on. Lots of crazy shit going on. Excuse me. Abiy Ahmed has declared the Tigray terrorists. He's not going to negotiate with them, which that's not, how you're going to broker a deal. It seems like to broker a deal, you're going to have a compromise of some sort. The Prime Minister, Abiy Ahmed, had canceled the elections, right? So don't cancel the elections. Never cancel the elections. After he canceled the elections, Tigray went along with their elections. They pissed Abiy Ahmed off, but they won their own election. So what the fuck? These are the people that's in charge in Tigray. You didn't have elections, Ethiopia, so all these federal police would be, illegitimate if you believed in democracy. Tigray is for Tigray only. Ethiopians be damned. The Tigrayans, what's wrong with them living in their own region? Why does Abiy Ahmed have to go bombing and airstriking people? Talk about, you just want to smash them, right? Talk about escalating a damn situation. You have an economist nominated for the 2019 Nobel Peace Prize, some guy named Steinman, the author of a historical novel about the Tigray, TPLF. He had said that America needs to stand firmly with Ethiopia's government in return for fresh concessions on humanitarian access, human rights, and other issues. Treating Ethiopia's popular government, the one that was popularly elected, the Tigray, they were elected too. And the forces trying to restore the TPLF dictatorship as morally equivalent expands the war. This is a fight for African freedom. So, I'm actually on Steinman's side. It does seem like Ethiopia, the government, the elected government, seems to be on the right side. But that's assuming, I don't know much about the Tigray elections. And, they apparently killed some of the Egyptian or Ethiopian forces. They claimed it was self-defense. But then Ethiopia is going to use that as, their Fort Sumter. They attacked us first. You saw that. They drew first blood. And that matters. Who starts the damn fight? It matters. You had all these peaceful elections and you had this military buildup. But who blinked? Who attacked the other one first? And then what's the solution? Can Tigray be its own region? And is it its own country? By now, is it its own country? And since the Western forces are like on Tigray's side, they're trying to make it seem like the Tigray, the poor, but there was elections. So I feel like I'm on the fence. I'm kind of in the middle. It seems like the Ethiopian government is on the right hand, is on the correct side, but who knows? It's easier just to go along with the, the 9 or the 7 regions, right? There's 7 regions is bigger than one. But ultimately, who's right? Who's right? Did the Tigray people, did they actually have a legitimate election? And if they had a legitimate election, then were the Ethiopian government's forces even allowed in Tigray? Yeah, nation-state theory says that they can, claim it all, but a federal republic, they have a certain degree of autonomy. Do they not? So I guess what I'm saying, since I'm an educated, I know more than the average bear in America. And it's not that I can't make heads or tails out of this. It just, I need so much more information. And I need more, media figures in the media that I could trust. And I don't, so what I'm saying is just like in Nicaragua, even if that was, a sham democracy, I'm not convinced that U.S. imperialism is the way to go. And the United Nations, I'm more inclined to, let the United Nations do their thing. But we should, stay out of Ethiopia. Let Ethiopia figure out their own shit. We don't need to intervene. We fuck up countries when we intervene. We have been fucking up countries. Anyways. Yeah. So, I don't know. Free Tigray, free Ethiopia. Can we all just get along?